Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is about mystery, legacy, and the enduring power of belief. We're re-exploring one of history's most fascinating legends, the king who never died. Across centuries and civilizations, stories have emerged about great leaders who vanished, not perished. Kings who would one day return to save their people in their time of need, from King Arthur of Britain to Emperor Frederick Barbarossa of Germany. From the Mongol tales of Genghis Khan to the enduring myths surrounding Elvis Presley and beyond, humanity has always clung to the idea that some figures are simply too great to die. But what lies behind this myth? Why do people throughout history believe that their king, their hero, their savior, never truly died, and what does that reveal about us as humans? Let's dive in. The story begins with the concept of the eternal ruler, a leader who symbolizes hope, justice, and divine right. When such a ruler disappears, whether through death, exile, or defeat, their people refuse to accept it. Instead, they tell stories that the king is sleeping in a mountain, hidden in another land, or waiting for the right moment to return. One of the earliest examples comes from King Arthur, the legendary ruler of Camelot. According to medieval lore, Arthur was mortally wounded in battle and taken to the mystical island of Avalon. There, it's said, he rests in eternal sleep, not dead, but waiting for Britain's darkest hour to return. For over 1,000 years, the phrase, the once and future king, has captured the imagination of poets and patriots alike. This pattern repeats across the world. In medieval Germany, after Emperor Frederick Barbarossa drowned in 1190, his followers refused to believe he was gone. Legend claimed he sat asleep in the Kyffhauser mountain, his red beard growing through a stone table, awaiting the moment when Germany would need him again. To this day, there are monuments and poems dedicated to Barbarossa the Eternal. Even in Eastern traditions, similar stories exist. In China, whispers once surrounded emperors who disappeared mysteriously, their followers believing they had ascended to the heavens. In Persian mythology, the hero Jamshid is said to have vanished rather than died, his fate hidden by the gods until the world required his return. But perhaps one of the most striking examples comes from Genghis Khan. When he died in 1227, his burial site was kept secret. His soldiers, according to legend, killed everyone who saw the funeral procession to keep the location hidden forever. Because of that secrecy, countless myths arose that he was immortal, that he had transcended human life, that he would return as a conqueror, reborn. To this day, no one knows where Genghis Khan is buried. In modern times, the same mythic impulse persists. Think of the Elvis Presley sightings, the rumors about Adolf Hitler escaping to South America, or the enduring fascination with King Tut's curse. These may seem far removed from ancient mythology, but the psychology behind them is the same. People struggle to let go of powerful figures who shape their world. So, why do we create the myth of the king who never died? There are three key reasons: hope, identity, and fear. First, hope. When societies face chaos or decline, the idea that a great leader will return brings comfort. It's a promise that the story isn't over, that justice will be restored. For medieval peasants, the legend of Arthur's return meant that tyranny and suffering would one day end. For the Germans, Barbarossa's myth symbolized unity in times of division. Hope turns loss into faith. Second, identity. A legendary ruler often embodies the values of a nation. When such a figure never dies, their legacy becomes timeless. The story unites people under shared memory and meaning. The idea of the immortal king becomes more than history, it becomes identity. Britain's Arthur isn't just a man, he's a symbol of courage, honor, and destiny. Barbarossa isn't just a ruler, he's Germany's eternal guardian. Third, fear. Believing that the king never died also reflects our fear of impermanence. We struggle to accept that even the mightiest can fall, because that means we, too, are mortal. Myths of immortal rulers ease that fear. They suggest that greatness transcends death, that leadership and virtue can survive beyond time. In a deeper sense, these myths also mirror human psychology. When something we love, a person, a leader, a time in history disappears, our minds often refuse to accept it. We create narratives to keep it alive. The king will return becomes a metaphor for renewal, the idea that even after loss, life continues. This theme extends beyond monarchy. In religion too, the motif of the undying savior appears again and again. The concept of resurrection, of returning from death to bring salvation, lies at the heart of Christianity, Buddhism, and other faiths. The line between sacred legend and royal myth often blurs, reinforcing the deep human desire to believe in continuity beyond mortality. Interestingly, the phrase "the king who never died" also reflects something symbolic: the immortality of influence. Even when a ruler is gone, their ideas can live forever. Take Alexander the Great. Though he died young, his empire shaped world history. Napoleon Bonaparte's ambitions still influence modern geopolitics. Nelson Mandela's vision of justice continues to inspire generations. In that sense, these figures never truly died. Their presence remains woven into the fabric of the world they changed. The same can be said of art, music, and culture. When people say, Elvis never died or Tupac lives on, They're not referring to literal immortality. They're acknowledging the permanence of impact, the way creativity and influence outlast the body. The myth becomes a metaphor for legacy. Let's step back and think about what all these stories reveal about us. We long for permanence in a world defined by change. We crave continuity in times of uncertainty, and we want to believe that greatness, whether moral, spiritual, or artistic, doesn't simply vanish. The king who never died represents humanity's refusal to let go of meaning. But there's another way to interpret this legend, one that speaks directly to our own lives. Each of us carries an inner king, a part of ourselves that leads, protects, and creates purpose. Sometimes that inner leader feels lost, buried by fear, doubt, or disappointment. But just like the legends, that inner strength never truly dies. It sleeps, waiting for us to awaken it. Perhaps the king who never died isn't just a story about monarchs or mythic heroes. It's a reflection of the human spirit itself, unyielding, resilient, and capable of rebirth. No matter how many times life defeats us, something within refuses to surrender. That something, our courage, our will, our hope, is what never dies. So, when you hear the phrase "the king who never died," think beyond the crowns and the castles. Think of endurance. Think of legacy. Think of the human need to believe that light can return, even after darkness. Because maybe the king isn't waiting in a mountain or hidden in a tomb. Maybe he is waiting within each of us. The part that rises again when life knocks us down. The voice that whispers, "This is not the end." In that sense, the myth is real. The king, the symbol of hope, strength, and renewal, never truly dies. He lives on in every act of courage, every moment of compassion, and every decision to keep going when giving up seems easier. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who loves history, mythology, or motivation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful storytelling and deep dive narratives into the mysteries of human belief and endurance.